Scott Brown here. Welcome to another exciting episode. I just got petrol, pretty excited about that. And look, no traffic, so I can pull right out. Wow. In today's exciting episode, we're going to discuss what it's like to be a carpenter in New Zealand. Day in the life of a carpenter in New Zealand. This is from the perspective of someone living in Auckland. But generally today is just another day. I'm going to a meeting about a potential job on the shore. Actually, that'd be a good example of where you should consider moving to if you move to Auckland. Alright, so this is my vehicle here. This is probably one of the most popular vans in New Zealand. Oh, it's windy. This is a Toyota Hiace, which is one of the most popular vans in New Zealand. I think the most popular vehicle to get for a builder though is a ute. The Ford Ranger or the Toyota Hilux are the most popular. That's the Harbour Bridge, the only viable way to get between the shore and the city. And that through the trees is Auckland City. Now I just use the shore as an example of a nice place to live if you choose to move to Auckland. Basically if you move somewhere in the city that is connected to the motorway, you should be okay, because the motorway is the main way of getting around. The transport here in Auckland isn't very good, and certainly if you're a builder you're going to struggle to get tools on buses and trains. So I mean, for example, the trains don't even get to the North Shore, which is, you know, getting a car and living near the motorway is pretty important. Now I've got to go to this meeting, so I'm going to do that right now, and then we'll continue with this exciting episode. Whew, meeting over. Man, this looks like a big commercial job right here. So there's a couple of different ways you can be a builder here in Auckland. You can be in the residential industry, or you can be in the commercial industry. That job back there was a commercial job on the side of the road there. I think they're building a retirement village. Much bigger site, probably like 100 guys there at any given time, and a lot of different companies with the main contractor controlling the job. And then there's the residential side. There's a lot of old houses in Auckland. They're mostly made out of timber. That means that they need a lot of maintenance, and in many cases they need full renovations. So there's like no shortage of houses that need renovated in this country. So that's what I've chosen to focus on. I like doing a lot of almost like woodworking carpentry, if you will. I like doing the finishing, I like doing decks outside, I like, you know, the windows and joinery, and I like doing that kind of stuff, and that's perfect for residential renovations. Now, speaking of renovating houses, I am on my way to give my mate Rich a hand. He's bought a house back on the other side of the bridge, and he's renovating it to sell it. Let's go there now. Good morning. You got more out there, bro?
Yeah, 2 more.
So how's the renovation going, Rich?
I wasn't quite sure if I was ready for that. It's going slow. The demolition phase is fast and exciting, and then the framing phase feels like nothing's really happening for a long time, and then the jib goes up and it feels like everything's like, yeah, changes super quick, you know?
Yeah, Rich himself has got a YouTube channel, and he's uploaded the first episode of this renovation, right?
When it was before I touched it.
So I'll put that in a link at the end there in the description. Alright, we're gonna put a ceiling up. Rich has just popped out for a meeting. And that's the ceiling done. Alright. Alright, ceiling done. Yeah, being a builder in New Zealand is pretty good. I like it. Money is something I get a lot of questions about. I don't like to talk about the money side of it too much here. I'm working on people's houses already, and that's a sensitive issue in itself. So putting it out there that I'm talking about how much money these clients are spending it's not something I want to do. To put it simply, you can earn a good wage as a builder here, even if you're working for somebody. There's a lot less of the classism I've noticed here, a lot less judgment as a builder. When I was working in Edinburgh, I remember my uncle telling me, he's done pretty well for himself. He's bought a few houses and renovated them, and maybe 10 or so years ago, he just bought one in a nice part of Edinburgh. He was working on it, and one of the neighbours stopped by and was looking at him as he was fixing something, and he kind of was sort of looking at him and he's like, oh, this is a nice place, who bought this then? And my uncle looked at him and said, oh, I bought it, this is my house. And he said the shock on his face was like, oh, you're a builder, you can't buy a place like this. Ever since he said that to me, I sort of noticed it when I was working there, that you kind of get talked down to a little bit. It might have just been in Edinburgh, I don't know. There's less of that in New Zealand. As a carpenter, basically you can expect to get paid anywhere from $20 an hour to, I don't know, $60 an hour, depending on who you work for, or if you work for anyone. But another thing to consider money-wise is the cost of living here in New Zealand. That's a big one. I filled up my van this morning and that cost 120 New Zealand dollars. Rent, the average rent here in Auckland is anywhere from 400 to 600 for a pretty entry-level place. If you want to buy a house, you're looking at around about 700,000 New Zealand dollars. The cost of living in New Zealand is pretty high. How's it going? He's just up the road. So the international currency.
Shit.
For a box of beer.
Shit.
Catch you later.
Okay, guys, tomorrow.
Sweet.
I'll see you tomorrow.
See you, bro.
So how would you rate building as a job in New Zealand?
The reason I like building, and probably I don't know if this is different in different countries, but
Yeah.
in New Zealand, because we're often, like this is probably a fairly typical job, renovating houses, even building houses, they're not big scale, so you do so much different stuff across a day. Maybe you do doors for a few days, and then you're on to trim for a few days or a week, or it's always changing, and that's why I like it, because I get bored too easy doing the same thing.
I think we have that in common, man. The variety,
Yeah, I couldn't, when I was working TV, I like TV over film, because if on film you like specialise in something, whereas TV budgets were much lower, so you just ended up doing like heaps of different shit.
We put some waterproofing on the outside of this window jamb, window reveal, window rebay, and we put the window in it, and the window is stuck. So we need to push it out at this point here. So here's a fun little building tip in order to do that. Alright, let's pop a screw in here. There we go, just inside the jamb line. Yep. There we go. It worked. So now we can adjust the window. Boom. Right, just double check that I got everything. Unfortunately, you have to leave. Rich is pulling his truck in now. Have I got it? I'll forget something. I know I'll forget something. Alright. Feels like I got everything. Charges. Alright. Alright, so now I go home with all my footage and check my invoices that I have to do and edit this video. It's usually how my day goes. Thanks for watching this exciting episode, and see you guys on the next one. See you later, man.